matcha green tea powder rồi một chút xíu sữa đậu nành, cái là mình cứ quậy nó ra mùi vị vậy đó em.
We are?
Chia seed.
Okay, and let me just say.
Qua thiên rồi cho nó
Yeah. Okay. Good morning. Yeah. So just the three of us today. I don't know if Liz and Dana are coming, but Laura is not coming. So good morning to everybody watching on YouTube. It's a beautiful morning, and it's not going to be very hot today either. So it's a lovely weather. Anyway, so how's everybody feeling? Good? Yeah, Judy. Yeah. Yes, life is good. Appreciate life. Well, the topic that I choose for today is about impermanence. Now, we've been talking about how to reduce internal suffering, right? Suffering from within us, so we can be at peace. Because if everybody is practicing this, reducing the suffering inside and be at peace, the whole world will be at peace. So we can't really contribute to the world peace if we're not at peace ourselves. So, so last week we talked about letting go as a way of reducing suffering, and we also talked about how we can let go and what concept we use to let go of things that are not good for us, right? Things that are not bringing us happiness and peace, we need to let go. So one of the concepts that we talked about, I think Judy brought it up, is impermanence. So on that topic, reduce suffering and the technique of how we can reduce suffering, impermanence is a big one. When we embrace impermanence, then we will be more ready to let go of suffering, reducing suffering. So how do we embrace impermanence, and what is impermanence?
It will change.
Yeah, things
forever.
Right. Impermanence means that nothing stays the same. Nothing stays the same. And all phenomena in this world are impermanent. So everything, physically and emotionally and mentally, nothing is permanent, right?
Even surrounding.
Yeah.
Weather,
environment, constantly changing. But why do we use that concept of impermanence to help us to reduce suffering?
Nothing is permanent, so that thing will be changed later.
Yeah, but
look forward to that.
Mm-hmm. But what causes suffering?
It's permanent.
Yeah, attachment, right? Attachment, relationship, and attachment to things, and when you lose them, you suffer. Right? Anything, relationship, cars, homes, money. So if you get attached to those things, when you lose those things, you're going to suffer. So when you suffer, when you lose some things in your life and you start to suffer, then you bring that concept of impermanence in and meditate on it. And then it will help you to, not suffer. So if you know how to suffer, you will suffer less, is the sentence that was said by the famous monk Thich Nhat Hanh, right? If you know how to suffer, you will suffer less. So everything is impermanent, including our thoughts. Thoughts arise and go, right? So sensation arise and go. So Sometimes we feel very happy and we laugh and we don't stay in that state forever. We don't laugh forever. It will end. The same with sadness. We feel sad and then that will end. So everything constantly changes. And if you look at everything around you, nothing stays the same, really. Even if you think about the wood floor like this, it's not the same because it's getting worn and at the microscopic level it's changing. Like the mountain is also changing, right? Being worn away by the weather, the wind, the storm, the rain, everything is changing. But what does the concept of impermanence help you to do? To let go, when you let go of things, so you don't cling on to things. When things change, you don't suffer when you are not having that attachment. So the concept of impermanence help you to be able to let go easily. And then if you meditate on impermanence and you know that nothing is permanent, what else we can practice to do to reduce our suffering? We appreciate things more in the present moment. Right here, right now. We have it. We appreciate it. We enjoy it. So the things that you value in life, that you know that one day you may not have it anymore. You need to
for me,
be able to,
because of the impermanent, and then also being positive.
Being positive,
So if something happened bad, because of something, it will change. So what if even something happened really bad, but then and what if it's worse than that?
Yeah.
And you're not too sad or too suffer.
Yeah.
Like I hear a couple of stories, like a son fell off the horse and then get broken legs. So that the son's really crying to the dad and say, I feel really suffer, and then I'm bad now. I have only one leg, and the dad say, no, it's still not bad.
Yeah.
And the son get mad. But then after that, they got a draft to the army, and then because it's broken leg, he would not go. He didn't need to go.
Yeah.
And a lot of neighborhood, men go, they got died from the war.
Yeah.
So then he's not dying.
Yeah.
So the dad think that's why the dad say this is still not bad.
Yeah.
From the beginning. So if you think if something happened, you will think, what if something worse than that happening? Then this is still okay.
Yeah. Sometimes you may think that things are really bad, but it's not. It may be a blessing in disguise, right? So like in the case of that young man with the broken leg initially was thought to be bad, but later on it was a blessing because he didn't have to go to war, right? Yeah. So, but things arise when the conditions are right. So the cause and effect too. If the conditions are right, things will come together, and then when the different conditions arise, things will fall apart. But so everything goes through that cycle of being created, birth. Everything. We're not talking of humans or pets or anything. Everything, like even the home, the creation of the home. If we have the right ingredients, wood and brick on this and that. If we have everything, we can build a home. Then, so there are 4 stages of things. First one is birth or creation when the condition is right. And then existence follows. So it will exist for a while. And then the third one is decay. And then the fourth one is cessation, is the end. everything. If you look at the beautiful flower, you see that right in front of your eyes, right? So when the condition is right, the flower will form and then it stay fresh and beautiful for a while, and then it starts to decay, and then it ends and it went away, disappear. We don't see it anymore. Yeah, into the compost or whatever.
But it can come back.
It can come back, but it's not the same. It's not the same flower. It's a different flower.
It could be the same root.
Hmm?
It could be the same root.
Same roots, yeah, but even the roots are constantly changing too. The shape of the roots changes.
Grows deeper.
Grows deeper, it's bigger, it's stronger. So that same root is not the same root a year from now.
Not enough energy and it could die, or it get the
Yeah.
worm eating the roots,
Right.
and then it could die.
Yeah, and the leaves in
changing.
the leaves on the tree in the autumn just show us what impermanence is too, right? Yeah. So.
Yeah, always a lot of impermanence and cleanup.
Yes, and the river. You look at the river, you think it's the same river, but what makes up that river, the flow of the water, is instantly changing, right? Because that volume of water, in 1 second, it moves to the next, and it keeps moving. So we think that river is permanent, but it's not really. It's constantly changing. So when we remember about the concept of impermanence and we practice it, how do we embrace that? When we know that concept, how do we embrace impermanence to help us to develop the awareness of us and reduce suffering? So always it starts with awareness, right? Knowing that nothing is permanent, and then what do you do?
Live at the moment, at the present moment.
Yes, so you practice living in the present moment, enjoy and appreciate the present moment, because you know that that moment is going to go away pretty soon, right? And then what else? You practice letting go. Yeah, we talked about letting go last week. You practice letting go because if you're suffering because of loss, I think loss brings a lot of suffering, no matter what you lose, right? And there's a different degree of suffering. You lose a loved one, you lose a car, you lose money, you lose something that you used to have. Even a beautiful journal that you used to have and gone away, you have some sensation of suffering there. Then when you have that awareness of the things, the thoughts, the sensation that make you suffer, you go back to the impermanence concept, and then you practice letting go. Let go of that attachment, the clinging sensation to that person, that thing, that money or whatever. You practice letting go, so that you have the freedom and peace in your mind. And then what else can you do after you practice? You practice mindfulness, right? So in order to let go, you have to practice mindfulness, awareness. It goes back to awareness, but then you have to practice mindfulness meditation on impermanence. So that's how you embrace impermanence. You put it into practice. You put it into practice and you meditate on it. So when you meditate on the concept of impermanence and you kind of peel each layer of that, then you finally get into the state of peace and freedom from suffering. Yeah. But I think if you are aware that you have an attachment to something that makes you suffer, then you have to practice letting go. And you have to look at all phenomena as being impermanent. Because if you don't embrace that and you think things should be permanent, things should stay, then you will continue to suffer because you are not able to let go of that attachment. But, like the practice of deep breathing, focusing on the breathing is just a tool to help you to hone into your awareness. But when you practice mindfulness meditation and you practice on these concepts of impermanence and you work on your thinking process, then we get to a deeper state of meditation, and it's vipassana, right? Vipassana meditation is the practice of not just focusing on your breath, but focus on all of your sensation, your thought, and your surrounding to achieve insight. We talked about insight, one of the pillars of a healthy mind, right? But so vipassana means insight. Ultimately, through meditation, you'll develop insight and wisdom. So, well.
So you apply that to family members?
Everything. Family members, friends, physical possessions.
It's kind of sad.
And it is sad, but it's the nature. It's the nature of things constantly changing. Because the conditions around you are constantly changing. People are changing. The way people think and act are changing. We are changing. The physical body right here is changing from day to day. If you look at the picture from birth till now, I mean, how different we look through time. We don't look the same as 5 years ago. And 5 years ago, we didn't look the same as 5 years before. We constantly change.
But there's a spirit too that's not visible.
But the spirit is also constantly changing depending on the knowledge and the insight that you gain. Yeah, if you practice and you gain insight and you gain wisdom, you today is already different from you yesterday with all of the insight and wisdom that you have. So the spirits that you possess.
So how do you juxtapose impermanence?
Commitment is something, you can't really say commitment means permanent. When you commit to something, that's a vast discussion right there. That's a vast discussion right there. Yeah, but we don't have time to discuss about commitment here. It's when you say a general term of commitment. Again, commitment arises when the conditions is right. It will dissipate when the condition is not right.
For an example, of business, right? So you start a business, and you're committed to its success.
Yeah.
Although things can happen.
Yeah.
But that shouldn't mean that you shouldn't stay committed to making it work.
Right. So it all depends on the condition. If the condition is right, then things will come or things will fall apart. So if the condition is not right, you can't commit to something when the condition is not right. Right?
So, what's the role in faith in all this?
Faith, yeah, faith it depends on different faiths. So I don't understand much about your faith, for example, but I'm very in tune with my faith. So you will have to find your own answer in your faith. I can't really answer the faith question for you because I really don't understand what your faith is, what is going on in your head. So faith is different for everyone too. Even in the same faith, there's different levels of understanding and practicing. And depending on the level of understanding and practicing, you are at the different wavelengths. So it's really, you can't really apply one thing that one person is doing to another. That's why you have to, you have to understand. Like last week we talked about developing an understanding. You've got to understand what that person is thinking and doing, and having this concept, because that person is not the same as you, for example. So you can't really always tell people, oh, you should do this. If I were you, I would do this. No, you just see things for what they are and try to understand it and be non-judgmental, because mindfulness meditation is a non-judgmental way. But you understand how you feel, how things affect you. That's mindfulness meditation. And if things are affecting in a certain way that doesn't bring you peace, you know you're not at peace, then you work on it to let go and get peace in your mind, in your heart. So you can help a person, but if you can't always say, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that. Sometimes you need to step away from that, because then I feel that if you tell people you got to do this, you got to do this, you become judgmental. If what they do don't bring you peace, you step away and and hope that they will see it for themselves and change. But as when we talk about these things, it's deep and it will take a lot of time to talk about it.
Well, I think it's true that life is impermanent because we're not. And I also think it's true that change dramatically.
Exactly. So death is the end of that cycle of the 4 stages.
But in my faith, in the Christian faith, we believe that God is good. All have souls.
Mm-hmm.
Souls are put it on the earth to try to help each other as best we can. And that is the opposite of detachment. That is attachment. So I guess I'm not really sure I buy into the letting go and being detached as a way of conquering suffering. I think it's more about thinking about God and having them show you ultimately what the right answer is.
Yeah, so I think that's the difference between faiths, right? I think in my faith, we are responsible, pretty much. We are responsible. God will give us the way, but do we follow that way or not? So, if we don't help ourselves, we just sit there and ask God to help, but not follow God's words, then I don't know if God will help you. If let's say, if you keep doing the wrong thing, hurting people, killing people, and then you ask God, Forgiveness, that I can understand. But ask God to award you for the wrong action. God is not going to award you for the wrong action.
No, God will,
Yeah.
God will work within our hearts to
Yeah, so God will help
fix
that person to fix that person so that person can come out. But that person still have to work on what God teaches that person to do, to change. It still comes back to us to do the work. You know, God will show you the way, but if you don't follow the way,
it takes a little time.
yeah, if you don't follow the way, I mean, God is not going to reward us for doing nothing. That, yeah, if you, I don't know, I understand in the Bible, God will show you the way of how to get there. I mean,
but like you say, God give you the way, you don't practice that.
yeah.
And then you're holding on to suffer yourself, you still suffer.
And then
And this meditation just teach you to understand the impermanence, to not attach, you let suffer.
right.
So that's for your own mind right there. Even yes, you have to follow the God teaching you good thing, helping people. Yes, you still do that.
Right.
But then if you attach to something that maybe somebody else says something, but then you think that is a bad, and then you attach to that word, and you get angry or you get suffer. I mean, yes, it's right there. So you hurt yourself.
Yeah.
So if you let things go, then you be more peaceful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people have.
That's just to me, like two different directions. One is yourself.
Yeah.
One is your belief.
Right.
But the yourself is like to make you in peace, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's suffer, right?
Right. Yeah. So
I think it's important, like when something bad happens at work, people let you down or whatever. To be able to practice forgiveness is part of that whole concept of attachment. So
yeah.
if you're judging and you feel anger and you want to get even, that's a natural human response.
Right.
But better response is forgiveness.
Yeah, forgiveness doesn't mean that you have to stay in that condition.
Because as long as you
can
don't
forgive,
you're suffering.
Yeah.
So maybe we can agree on that.
Yes, yeah. We talked about forgiveness, and so when you are able to forgive, you are more at peace with yourself. But forgiveness doesn't mean that you approve what happened. For example, a person who did something wrong and hurt another person, like you can see those people in the jail a lot. They are in jail because they did something to, most of them anyway, because they did something to hurt the other person. But then they can be forgiven by the people who got hurt by them. It doesn't mean that those people accept and approve that act. So yeah, so that's why when you forgive, it doesn't mean that you approve.
Yeah, when you're talking about a murder, you can't get the life back.
Yeah, you can't, but you can forgive. Of course, you can forgive. Yeah, people do forgive, and they pray for peace, and they pray for the good things for that person who did the bad deed,
Yeah,
right?
I'm
They
not
still
talking
pray.
about murders, though. I was talking more about when something in life is disappointing, angering.
Yeah.
It's natural to feel anger and judgment about that, but that causes suffering.
Yeah.
And the only way to get past that is, like you said, letting go.
Letting
that
go.
is forgiveness.
Yeah.
And reconciliation.
Not sure about reconciliation though. You can you can forgive, and you can let go, but you cannot force some reunion when it could not, because it's at the end of that already. you know, it has gone through that cycle of birth, existence, decay, and end. So when it's ended, you can forgive, but it doesn't mean that you have to go back and try to amend it when it cannot be amended, right?
Yeah. So
yeah.
there is
Yeah.
life eternal, right?
Right. Yeah. Well,
Flowers
with
come
that,
up every spring.
yes. Well, with that, let's practice for half an hour, you know, trying to do this mindfulness meditation on impermanence and how to reduce suffering. So take deep breaths in and out and assume a position where you feel comfortable. You can lay down if you want to. And bring your awareness to your breath. When you breathe in, you know how you breathe in. And you want to breathe in slowly and deeply. And you are aware of your nose taking in the fresh air. And you try to return to this present moment. When you breathe out, you know you breathe out and how you breathe out. Try to breathe out slower than you breathe in. So return to this present moment and raise the awareness of what's going on inside of you and outside of you. Return to this present moment and be in this present moment. And as you raise awareness to your sensation, your thoughts, and your surrounding, see how things are constantly changing from one second to the next. Even your breath, the next breath is already different from the last breath. And your thoughts are constantly coming and going. And your heartbeat is also constantly changing. One of the examples of the constantly changing heartbeat is atrial fibrillation. The irregularity of it, the difference in amplitude of the heartbeat, how your gut is constantly moving, pushing things down. That in itself is impermanent. Each segment of your gut is constantly changing from one second to the next. The electrical charges and flow that goes down your nerves is another example of impermanence, because it is constantly changing from one split second to the next. The flow of blood in your own circulatory system is another example of impermanence. It is like the river. That blood that is constantly flowing to and from your cells is constantly changing in the structure, the composition of this blood. So you come to know that your existence in this split second is also impermanent. You are always already changing as what is inside of you is changing. Deep breaths in and slow breaths out. We always think death is the end, but if you think of your cells, death is happening in every second. Each of your cells is going through its own life cycle. And right here and now, billions of cells are going through that cycle of birth and death. Through this mindfulness practice, we see that we are dying in every second moment, part of us. So we appreciate life a lot more. We also appreciate that things come and go. Seeing things come and go, we try not to suffer when they come and when they go. We appreciate things that make us happy and at peace. And we also recognize things that come and go that make us suffer, and practice letting go of suffering. Return to this present moment. Return to yourself and raise the awareness of what is going on within yourself and what's going on outside of yourself. And how the external world affects you, and how the internal world affects you. And with this awareness, you find a way of finding peace and reduce suffering from within you. See if you can practice acceptance, forgiveness, non-attachment, non-self. Deep breath in. You know you're breathing in. Slow breath out. You know you're breathing out. Through this mindfulness meditation, if you can find a moment of peace, of happiness, of joy, you will know that that is true happiness, true peace, true joy that arise within you unconditionally. It doesn't depend on the outside factors. You find peace in your heart, peace within you, doesn't depend on what other people do or say. Deep breath in, slow breath out. Mindfulness meditation doesn't mean that you have to isolate yourself. Because the truth is, everything, every phenomenon is dependent on conditions, on other things. So you cannot be in isolation at all. You're always dependent on other things, people, conditions to make you who you are. And with the awareness that you cultivate and develop in mindfulness meditation, you will see that when those conditions change, because they are impermanent, you will change along with it. And when you resist the change, that is when suffering arises. Accepting changes means you understand the concept of impermanence. And since things are constantly changing, when you embrace changes with a peaceful heart, you will have peace. When you resist changes and cling onto things, you will suffer. Return to yourself. Return to this present moment. When you return to yourself, when you return to this present moment, and practice raising awareness, and practice letting go, you're able to achieve that state of peace and happiness. Just appreciate it. Practice gratitude for this present moment of peace. Deep breaths in and slower breaths out. Breathing in, you know you're breathing in. Breathing out, you know you're breathing out. This moment of self-discovery, when you are aware of what's going on within you, when you are aware of what's going on within you, you can see things are constantly changing. Your feelings are changing. Your thoughts are changing. Deep breaths in, and slow breaths out. Return to this present moment. Return to yourself. Take deep breaths in and slow breaths out. Deep breath in and slow breaths out. If you were closing your eyes, you can start open your eyes. You can start moving your fingers and toes. Actually, if that's happened, I lost track of time. I hope everybody's feeling relaxed and feel light. Nothing else matters, just the here and now. Okay. Well, let us do some stretching and go for a walking meditation. Huh? Yes, it's beautiful outside. Birds chirping. So just stretch your arms and stretch your back. Just free. Deep breath in and slow breath out, just like that. One more time. And arms down, and then just swing. I like this because it works on the lower back. Yeah. You can move your legs one at a time, just bend your knees. If they are stiff, and you can pull it up like that if you're steady and stable. But if you're not, don't try. Yeah. You can do tea tree, like yoga.
Yeah, I did.
Like this. And yoga. Tea tree, like this. You can stretch your arm like this, bird, like songbird. One arm underneath the other, and lean back, and then bend down. Now you can feel this stretches your upper back. Deep breath in and slow breath out, bend down. Deep breath in and bend down and bend up. Yeah. You can do this stretch up, like bring your arms up, intertwine your fingers and lean back this way. And straighten and turn to the other side and lean back this way. And straighten. And again, lean back this way. And straighten. And lean back this way. And straighten and arms down. And shake it out. Okay. Let's go for a few rounds of walking meditation. So just listen to the bell and work on your mind, work on your breathing. See if you can be aware of how your feet touch the ground. And let your ears follow the sound of the bell. See how long that sound is. Don't forget to work on your breathing as well. Deep breath in and slow breath out. One more circle. All right, so let's share your experience of this practice. How was it for you?
It's good.
You feel good?
I'm sure the whole week we have some kind of stress or work thing.
Yeah.
So this is the moment to relax. That's very
Yeah.
mind everything.
So the more you practice, the more peace you get, right? You stay in that state of peacefulness when you practice mindfulness meditation. So,
This moment you may forget, but then let's bring it back
yeah,
right away. Like, no, wait, this is wrong direction. We have to go the wrong way. So this shouldn't be this.
yeah,
What can I get? Just like
yeah, that's good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah,
Sure.
you're welcome.
If I can. Once a month, I need to be
Yeah,
always a second week
yeah,
of the month.
yeah. Actually, if you work on your mind and be aware of what your you're thinking all the time, that is meditation right there. As long as you have the awareness of what's going on, that's the basic of mindfulness meditation. And you work on your mind and you figure things out for yourself and you see the direction you go in. That's all about mindfulness meditation. So, yeah.
Get off the road, and
Yeah.
then I walk back to the right road.
Yeah.
That's my mind thinking.
Yes. Yeah. And how is it for Hal?
Well, it was a relaxing day. I thought the conversation was interesting. Just pick up the topic on it.
Huh? On impermanence? Commitment. Okay, I'll prepare that commitment. Yes. Yeah. Well, with that, next week, actually, yeah, next week I'll be here, but the week after that I will not be here, the week on the 9th and the 10th of April, because I'm traveling for conference. Yes. You're working too? So we won't have a session on that weekend, but I will resume after that weekend. So with that, I wish everybody a very peaceful, happy weekend. Enjoy the weather when it's here, because Indiana weather changes like crazy, you know, up and down. Yeah, enjoy your life, enjoy every moment of your life, and be at peace.